Namaste, namaste, everybody. Good to see everyone. We're going to get started here. Let me do the chat and the participants. Great. Everybody's getting on board. Good to see everyone. And I'm going to do a little chat as I usually do on Facebook Live. People are expecting to see it now, so I've got to do that. It's important to share. I want to talk about something really important too. So, um, these chats are important to share information, um, and it's about rage. Um, yeah, we have to contend with that. Not only within ourselves, sometimes we can feel that energy boiling in us, but we're most certainly going to be confronting people who maybe do not have the skills onto how to balance that energy. And there's a lot of people in rage right now, in addition to suffering and all that other things that are going on, fear, these are the times we are living in, and so it's good to have your spiritual tools as to what to do if you find yourself in a situation like that, or if you are experiencing something like that. So let me just go ahead and get this on so we can have this chat. I'm on Facebook Live. Let me just put our title is going to be the anchoring light transmission of the ascended realms. Anchor light transmission preview and chat. And we're going to talk rage. What to do when you encounter this in others or within yourself. URSELF. All right, and let me just make an extra copy of this. Requires you to do it twice. And paste and go live. All right. So welcome everybody once again. Baba Sharone here, and we'll be starting our anchoring light transmission here, maybe about 5 minutes after 7. We do the anchoring light transmission meditation every single Monday without fail. And we've been doing this for over 13 and a half years, going 14 years every Monday. So that's a testament to, how important this is, what it means for the planet. All of us coming together as the family of light. And in our own way, we don't need masses of people, masses and masses of people. We just need a handful of dedicated light workers to do this work. For those that have the call to do this or can pierce through the illusions and the delusions of this world of Maya to realize who you are and that, wow, I could do something about this. So I feel I have a mission or an important purpose. There's a reason why I'm here on the planet, and it's beyond myself. So it is a calling to those who have the capacity to really hold the power of unconditional love. Not so easy in this world. Okay, but most certainly, Jesus Christ and other avatars of life, it's always talked about the way back is through the higher heart of compassion and unconditional love. That is the source of all creation. And so that's what we need to emulate. We need to anchor it into the planet, we need to wake everybody else up, and to go into the direction, the higher celestial frequencies of light, known as the Ein Sof, or the limitless light. That's the direction we're going on. But of course, in our world of duality, we have an opposing force, and that is darkness, or the proverbial good and evil dynamic. And that dynamic, what I call service to self, doesn't want that to happen, would prefer the things to be just the way they are. They're the head of the king of the hill, and they want to keep it that way. But we're like, nah, we know the mountain. We know the person who's the head of the mountain, and that's the one that we're going towards. And so we are very clear in who we are and what we're part of as the tribe of light. So what I first want to do is always invite anybody. A lot of people will see this feed, later on. There's some of you that know we come on around this time. So hello, everyone. I can't see, from the Zoom, who's on right now on Facebook Live, but I know there's a few of you that do come on live, but most of you will be receiving this feed later on after this is done. And that's fine. It's an invitation that if anybody would like to be part of this transmission, this meditation, very powerful. It does accelerate your spiritual path for sure. It's not us, we're working with the higher celestial realms of light. The what people call the ascended masters, or the angelics. Also, we do tap into the benevolent star energies that are out there, our star brothers and sisters, our galactic family of light. They are part of this whole, divine plan, if you will, of which we're a part of. We're a part of that, but we are the boots on the ground. So you are always invited to be a part of this. All you simply have to do is go and look through our Facebook Live feed, and you will see Anchoring Light Transmission with Baba Sharone. That's me, that's my spiritual name. And all you have to do is register. And if you see this in time, you can register and you can maybe get on board before we get started. If not, you can always come on. Every Monday is when we meet together. And that is at 6:45. We start a little chat. That's 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. So I wanted just to chat a little bit about rage, which is a real energy, is an energy that can completely engulf you. It can be rage where you no longer have control. Rage controls you. And first of all, I want to start out with every light worker, every single light worker, starseed wanderer, seeker of truth. However you describe yourself, you must always put the light of protection around you. That's just automatic. Like you get up, brush your teeth, you do your spiritual practice, even if it's just a quick visualization where you see the light around you. And because that's your armor, that's your spiritual armor. And I am telling you, everybody is going to need to polish up that spiritual armor to go out into the world, what I call into these days of Noah. First of all, let's just say, the amount of suffering, and, suffering has been a part of this world almost from the inception after the fall, but most certainly it's amplified during certain times. And right now, there is a lot of suffering in the world and has been for a while, but there's an amplification of suffering now, particularly with the pandemic. And this pandemic, has affected many, many people around the world where, there's sudden loss, there's great grief, the disruptions of family, any death can be shocking, of course. to the system of anyone who's left behind. But, you know, when you have multiple deaths, it's like a war, losing one person after another. There's a lot going on in India right now, but most certainly not just only India, other places around the world are having an escalated um, what I want to say is fear. And with that fear, you know, comes the whole plethora of everything, you know, suffering and grief and so forth. So just that alone, okay, because particularly if you're an empath, if you're intuitive, if you're a light worker, we are sensitive. We're sensitive to energies. And so, you know, we also have to protect ourselves. I know for me, I've been having swings this entire like week, almost 2 weeks, back and forth, these like swings. Well, I feel great, then I feel horrible, then I feel great, then I feel horrible, you know, back and forth. And I'm trying to stabilize now, but I feel a lot of it is energetic, of course, and a lot of it is the collective unconscious, the collective of the human condition, and it does impinge upon us. And so, for that, we do need to protect ourselves. Not to say that we ignore what's going on. Of course, we're aware of what's going on, but it doesn't impinge us to where it can incapacitates us, or it just, you know, brings that entropy, bring us down. Somebody has to be strong. Somebody has to be vigilant. Somebody has to continue to move in that vertical upward and onward. And we're the ones to do it while most of the masses of humanity are asleep. They don't even have a clue as to, you know, what's going on. The other thing, which is what I wanted to talk about, was rage. And, you know, in the past week or so, I've been, not to say it's recent, this has been going on where, you know, somebody bumps into somebody by accident, you know, that could be, you know, a full force fight, or, you know, something worse. Where people are just pulling out, you know, weapons and killing each other for the slightest mistake. And let's not even talk about having an argument. I don't have to tell you what's going on. You know what's going on. You see it in the world, you know, where people get upset, and because they got their feelings were hurt, you know, that they fall into such a rage that, you know, they feel that they have to take a weapon and kill somebody or injure somebody. So we're talking rage, and the energy of rage comes from a level of hatred. And the hatred is the opposite of the love. And guess who's promoting hatred? Guess who's out there promoting hatred? How do they promote hatred? They promote hatred by thinking that we are separate from one another, that, you know, humans are somehow put in separate categories and not equal to one another, which of course is the absolute miscreation, misunderstanding, the biggest manipulation, because every human is part of the Atman Kadman, and they are part and hold the similitude and the image of the divine. That's the equalizer. That's why even the, you know, the person that I would say, I come from a part of unconditional love. However, I am discerning as to who I'm going to hang out with or who gets to hang out with me. And we have that right to do that. Absolutely. We need to do that. But however, no matter what, I understand, and we understand that no matter where that person is or how dark that person may be, they still hold some little spark of the similitude of the divine, which is why you have the redemption, you have forgiveness, you know, you have the resurrection, you have those energies that you can rise from the depths. Okay, you have the phoenix, you have the transformation, the transfiguration. These are all energies of the light, okay, that can come, transmute and uplift and transcend those darker tendencies and energies that are constantly being promoted, because there's an agenda on the planet by the service to self, others, okay, that want to keep chaos, that want to keep angst and want to have, suffering and all the regular human condition that we all know only too well because it serves their agenda. It is an anti human agenda. It is an anti spiritual agenda. And now it's time for everybody to wake up. And the way you wake up is transcending those tendencies and moving more towards the higher heart of unconditional love and compassion, which I will tell you, somebody, oh, that's a wimpy thing, those are snowflakes, or whether they call the names out there. That is the hardest thing to do. You have to have tremendous courage, tremendous strength to forgive everything, to forgive those wounds and those things that have happened to you, by other people. Forgiveness is the first step to bring forth that unconditional love. That's not easy to do. That's not easy to do because these energies that want to pull you down, that want to bring you into rage, okay, those are potent energies, but they're not as potent as unconditional love. Once you can align yourself with that, once you can start to practice that, once you can start to do those type of things that reinforce and fortify those energies, where you put your attention to those energies. So when we have the masses of humanity now really going off the rails, they're just going off the rails, then what do you do? Well, first of all, your mastery as you walk in your mastery is that you don't allow anyone to rattle your cage. You come to a point in your mastery, for yourself, you use the breath. Okay, I always say breathe, breathe, breathe whenever you find yourself getting upset or find yourself getting into a confrontational type of situation where you are now going to react, which is different from acting. Reacting is different from acting. Mastery is when you act, not when you react. So you want to be aware of your actions and how you act, not how you react. You don't want to react. So what do you do? Well, there's a natural impulse, somebody's feeling attacked, that flight or fight, pumping of the adrenaline is going to go through your body. It automatically lowers your breath. Your heart starts to beat faster. What can you do? You breathe. You breathe. You literally stop and breathe and take deep breaths. And that stops the adrenaline from pumping throughout the body. So that's one just very practical thing you can do. Over time, you come from, and I practice being the neutral observer. And it's a way where you can take yourself out of the drama. It's like you have another part of yourself observing, like in a dream. You may be observing something. That's a practice you can do too. So you're not engaged in the emotional manipulation, because rage, okay, what rage does, it creeps up. You have the physiological, changes that take place in your body, but also, okay, energetically and spiritually, okay, you become open for like this other entity, this other part of yourself that just comes from this lower vibration where you now have no control. It now takes over your life. So one of the things that we want to do is to know how to master our own self control so we don't go into rage or do not allow somebody to trigger us to a point where we go into rage. Now, what happens if you are in with in a situation where somebody is enraged? Well, first of all, most light workers, really work on your intuitive skills, you work on your spiritual skills, just like anything else. You build a muscle, you build your spiritual muscles. So intuitively, okay, you will sense and feel, okay, something not right or an energy that's not harmonic. And so you pay attention to that immediately, okay, because that can be the thing to say, leave this situation, or you can be the person who can be the person that can stabilize and balance a situation that's out of balance. You have the power to actually transfigure and transcend those lower energies if you hold a high light quotient. Just as Jesus can come in and calm those waves, this the story of him on the boat. We actually have the potential to do that. There have been many saints who have come into situations just calm everything. But if you find yourself like, where you are confronted, with somebody who is enraged, what you simply do first, you breathe, number one, and you just hold this centeredness, as challenging as it can be. You are not going to feed into the rage. What you're going to do is take the energy and dissipate it. And how do you do that? You do that simply by being calm, simply by emanating divine love, understanding. What I usually do when I find a situation, which is very rare, but if I do find that, I just understand that this person is in pain. In fact, I should be feeling sorry for this individual that is in such turmoil in their life, that rage is a part of their life. Whichever philosophical thing that you need to do in your thinking that will allow you, okay, to transcend this energetic and not allow it to suck you in. And, I just look, I just see how this can be like sucking in people and they get into it. You have the mastery to transcend it. And when you do, you dissipate it. It most certainly would be an outcome that would be far more palatable and harmonious than if you did not, and just kind of walk away from the situation. What do you have to prove? What do you have to prove? You have nothing to prove to anybody else. The only thing you have to prove is to your creator. That's it. That's it. Okay. Because we are operating on this little stream over here. There's so much more. So there's nothing to prove. All you have to do is prove to be your integrity in the best and highest you can be of yourself. You prove yourself to yourself. You don't have to prove to anybody else. And so when you take on this stance, and it takes practice, absolutely. Okay, it absolutely, young, I had a horrible temper. Oh my gosh, you have no idea. My rising signs is Scorpio. Don't get me pissed off. But I realized early on that I can't be reacting out in the world like this. First of all, it's not good for me. It impinges my health, my well-being, until I finally got to get a handle on that and just say, because there's going to be so much out there that can trigger you. Not only that, when you start to use these spiritual disciplines, you don't even run into it that often. You hardly ever run into it. It's like you create this spiritual armor all around you that you just don't attract it, you don't come into it. But if you do, you have one, the ability to stabilize it, okay, and number two, not fall into it, okay, and number three, within yourself, you have the tools to stop the tendency to go into rage. So we want to, as light workers for ourselves and for others, to be the great transmuters of rage, not feed into it, but to dissipate it. That's what we do. Okay, so with that, I want to say namaste to our Facebook Live family of light, and we will see you again next week. Okay, got stop live stream. Okay, done, done, and done. All right, everybody, let's get started. It's good to see everyone here. Let's see, is there anybody that's here for the very first time? Um, everybody looks like I don't think so. I think, hey, good to see everyone here. Hey, I love it. Okay, if you're here for the first time, just on the chat, just say hi here for the first time or anything. And I'm not sure, but I don't think so. But if so, just put it on there. So we are going to start our anchor light transmission, and you already heard everything I had to say. Regarding rage, is a lot of that, and I just want to say that we really want to start to handle and know those skills. And the reason why is because those energies are going to be coming in more, between now, June, into the summer. I wish I could say I think the energies are going to like, kind of taper a bit, but I'm not thinking so. In fact, one of the things that we want to do is um, we want to we want to do another uh mystical ceremony, because we constantly have to just kind of show up. We had a very powerful one before I had left for Arizona, and we need one. I'm keeping pulse on what's going on, but definitely another one. I just have to figure out what date we're going to do it. But that one, I want to tell everybody here, rest assured that we are changing timelines. We are 100% shifting timelines. What we do, along with all those that hold peace in their heart, okay, we have absolutely shifted timelines. And I know that so intimately. I can't even begin to tell you how that information is shared in a way that is absolutely resultant in our choices to hold peace. We're going to go through some changes in our, world changes and things like that. There's some things that we do not have the power to change at this point, but we can most certainly mitigate them. We can mitigate them. And as we serve, we can be rest assured that we are divinely protected and we are always divinely guided to know what to do. And namaste to you and happy Wesek. Yes, this is Wesek, very powerful full moon, the Wesek full moon today. We're going to be doing the anchoring lights. So all I can say is strap on to your seatbelts. Okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to be working with this beautiful celestite. I love this stone so much, but I just really felt very moved to work with it today, probably because it is Wessex. So I'm going to work with this particular stone. And I want to share, I am now wearing a bracelet and I felt very um, motivated. I had to get some parts of it fixed and reinforced, but I'm wearing this bracelet. If you can see it, it has the 3 amethysts on it. But I got this in Egypt many moons ago when I was in the Great Pyramid. And for whatever reason, the idea came that I needed to start to wear it. So I'm wearing it for the first time today in many, 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 many years for the anchoring lights. So who knows why that's going to happen, but that's what we are going to do. So first of all, I'd like to start off and then we'll say our prayers. After we say our prayers, then I'll do the bowl and then we'll do the meditation. I want to start off with the blessing. So as we come together now, before we've even started, the ascended family of light is already anchored here. They've been here waiting for us. So wherever you are, know that you're on sacred ground and breathing sacred air right now. And as you take each and every in breath and out breath, please accept and understand this blessing. Blessed are they who seek the light, for light shall be given in greater measure. Blessed are they who give of the energy of light, for they shall know the increase. Blessed are the children of light upon the earth, for theirs is the reward of the redemption. For the children of light are given the work of lifting the planet out of its state of darkness through the increase in vibratory rate as it emanates from the being into the ethers. As ye are lifted, you will draw unto the self the one who seeks. The child of light is thereby the servant of the Most High. And so it is. Amen, 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 and amen. And before we get started, I also wanted to just share um, this picture. At some point, I guess I'll get it onto there, but it's the opening of the grids to the other dimensional worlds. And, as they say, a picture paints 1,000 words. And this pictograph, okay, is imbued with so many divine sacred codes. Okay, the divine eye that is constantly looking after us and our ability to tap into the higher parts of ourselves, being able now to actually bring forth the memory in our dream state. And I mentioned to some of you before, I had a dream, I think it was last week, whenever it was, I don't remember, had used the a sacred name Ani Yahweh Rofeka. It was for the Sunday service and had a tremendous healing in my lower back. And they said it would be in 3 stages. It'd be one, two, three is how the healing would take place. And that's exactly what happened. It was the tailbone area was the first healing. Then it was my left hip and then my third hip. And in my dream state, they're telling me how to move my body to correct it. So this is where we are now. And I've been saying it for a long time, but now it's actually happening where our waking state and our sleeping state start to intertwine and intermingle with one another. So things that you could put the intention of before you go to sleep, to think of that and say, may I have some solutions or give me some guidance with that? Or in your dream state, so, you say, you begin to remember that you're lucid dreaming. I want to remember this when I wake up, whichever way it unfolds to you, it's all now happening now. So you could always do your own research and see how that works. Okay, so we are now I'm going to share my screen.